We present Budget Vote 8 today at a time of immense challenge and opportunity. We are contending with the drag of weaker global growth and facing new risks from intensifying climate shocks and geopolitical tensions. These are the headwinds that shape our economic environment. And in this context, budgeting is about choosing. And the choices the Treasury has made in Budget Vote 8 is to rebuild state capacity, restore fiscal integrity, and pursue reforms that support inclusive and sustainable growth. And let me begin with one of the critical and emerging areas of focus and reform, which is our disaster risk financing strategy. The Southern African region is experiencing a growing number of climate-related disasters, from flooding to droughts, from cyclones to heat waves. These are no longer rare occurrences. They're increasing in frequency and intensity, and they come with devastating human, social, and economic consequences. They also have significant fiscal consequences. When disasters strike, government is forced to reallocate funds from other priorities to respond, often at the cost of long-term development. This cycle of crisis and reallocation is unsustainable. And this is why the National Treasury will finalize and publish a national disaster risk financing strategy in this financial year. The strategy represents a critical shift from reactive funding to proactive, planned disaster risk management. And the Treasury will introduce disaster risk financing instruments, including climate insurance products, to improve response times and predictability of funding, embed disaster risk management in grant frameworks, particularly those for infrastructure and local governments, and of course, support line departments and municipalities in mainstreaming climate risk into their financial planning decisions. But our objective is simple. We need to reduce the fiscal and human cost of disasters by planning for them and not just reacting to them. Climate change is no longer a future threat. It is a present reality, and our budget frameworks reflect that. A second area of focus, as was raised by multiple members, is on local government and local government finances. If we are to rebuild public trust in the state, we are not in the business of collapsing municipalities, and we start where government meets the people, which is at local government. And we must be honest, too many municipalities are failing in their core responsibilities. There are too many service delivery breakdowns, there's fiscal mismanagement and governance failures. And the Intergovernmental Relations Team at Treasury is responding with targeted support and structural financial reforms. On unfunded budgets, we are undertaking reforms to require credible funded budgets as a basis of municipal financial planning. On revenue value chain reforms, we support municipalities to improve billing systems, strengthen their collection rates, and protect revenue integrity. Without these things, no budget can be sustainable. On capacity building through direct technical support, we're building the financial management skills of municipal officers, particularly CFOs. On financial recovery plans for municipalities in distress, our Municipal Financial Recovery Services provides tailored recovery plans that are grounded in the financial position of each municipality. And of course, we have more work to do to make sure that those local councils in distress actually implement these plans we put together. On MSCOA implementation, the Municipal Standard Charter of Account brings uniformity to local government finances and enables us, but more importantly, the public, to compare apples with apples across municipalities, across provinces, and across time. And of course, we are working with COGTA and the AG and others to ensure that there is consequence management, because public money must be protected, and where there is wrongdoing, there must be consequences. So we have heard the members and are hard at work on local government. A specific area in local government that is quite critical is our Metro Trading Services Reform Program, which I wish to highlight today. And it's our program to turn around these trading services in our major cities, starting with water services. Municipal trading services are vital to economic productivity and household well-being. Yes, in many metros, they are financially unsustainable, poorly managed, and in crisis. The National Treasury is leading a program to reform these services through 3 pillars. The first is financial reforms. Metros will be required to produce separate financial statements for their trading services so that we can clearly see what is viable and what is not. This transparency makes the financial relationship between the municipality and the service explicit. Secondly, we're working on institutional and structural reforms. So we're introducing single point accountability for each of these services, including control over support services, asset management, and technical capability, so that there's no more fragmented accountability in trading services and buck passing at a political level. And of course, we are undertaking grant reforms. Members raised that as well. We're introducing performance-based financial incentives linked to reform milestones on trading services. These grants will be used to crowd in loan finance and private capital, enabling long-term infrastructure investment in trading services. This is one of the most ambitious metro-level reform programs that have been undertaken, and we look forward to seeing its outcome. It will take time, but it lays the foundation initially for stable water supply and in the long run, stable metro services. Now, when we look at the auditing profession, House Chair, it plays a critical role in financial markets and public accountability. And Treasury is currently reviewing the Auditing Professions Act. The proposed amendments are designed to strengthen the independent regulatory board of auditors and align our regulatory framework with international best practice. Some of the reforms include enabling the IRBA to implement mandatory audit firm rotation to protect auditor independence, authorizing the IRBA to prescribe levies and improve funding sustainability, empower the IRBA to recognize foreign qualifications and conduct reciprocity agreements, remove restrictions that limit transparency around audit inspection outcomes, and strengthen the IRBA's powers to enforce sanctions and extend the board's term of office to ensure continuity. Audit failures seen in the recent past in both the public and private sectors comes at the cost of economic credibility. So these reforms are not just technical changes, they are fostering trust, integrity, and public confidence in the profession and ultimately in the economy. Now, as part of Treasury's broader macroeconomic framework reforms to drive structural reform and attract investments, public infrastructure spending will exceed 1 trillion rand over the next 3 years. This represents the fastest growing area of government expenditure and is aimed at easing supply-side constraints and improving public and social service access. The budget facility for infrastructure is being reconfigured to attract private sector participation through multiple appraisal windows, separate investment and financing decisions, and diversifying financing instruments, including guarantees, build, operate, transfer structures, and concession loans. New public-private partnership regulations took effect from 1 June 2025 and have reduced procedural complexity with supporting frameworks for unsolicited proposals and fiscal commitments to be published soon, while municipal PPP regulations will be finalized before the MTBPS. A single national Treasury overseen structure will be established this year to systematically crowd in private sector finance and expertise, consolidate large-scale project preparation, providing public-private partnership technical support, improve data management, and enhance private sector engagement. Honourable members, what I've outlined is a small fraction of the work that the Treasury does, because the work we need to do to make sure South Africa can recover is not automatic. Reform is hard. Fiscal consolidation is not easy. It's about making the right choices. And rebuilding state capability is especially difficult. But it is work worth doing. Through this budget votes, what we have seen is that the National Treasury has committed itself to the core responsibilities of a democratic state, and that is to spend wisely, to manage honestly, to plan for the future, and to build the institutions that serve all the people of South Africa. And I'd like to take a moment to thank Minister Godongwana for his leadership, Director General Duncan Peterser, the DDGs, and the technically excellent officials at the Treasury. I ask this House to support National Treasury Budget Vote 8, because in doing so, you support the path of responsible, sustainable, and reform-orientated governance. I thank you.
DA at Work, rescuing South Africa.